Right, so we have the recording started.
Okay.
And hello, Ace in the Window. How are you guys doing today? Mixed Game Mike here, and today I'm joined by a very special co-host. Some of you may recognize, hopefully all of you recognize him, Andrew Neeme.
Single game Andrew Neeme.
Single game Andrew Neeme.
Mixed Game Mike.
Yeah, single game Andrew Neeme.
One trick pony
Absolutely.
Andrew.
Very good. So you guys should recognize Andrew from his vlog because you should be subscribed to his channel. You should be a regular watcher. We certainly are over here at the Ace in the Window group, as well as Rounders Card Club. A lot of fans there.
Thanks.
And of course, you've been out to visit a couple times.
I
so
have.
Certainly appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, great room, great action.
Yeah, it's a good deal. So it's really cool that I was able to meet up with you here in Vegas before I, was done for the summer and all that kind of stuff. So I think the first thing I wanted to discuss was Rounders Live. Since you left, we've actually started a live stream similar to like the Bike or Stones Live or things like that, where we're streaming a live cash game. And in fact, we're doing this as a recording and not live because Rounders Live is live right now. So the timing of our show just happened to work out that way. It happened to be the same time the Rounders Live was going. So if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you're checking out that action there. We're still working on getting RFID and things like that, but we do have great action, fun games, fun players, and good commentary.
Yeah.
So
It seems like if you can just get a camera into Rounders and show some of the action, that'll make up for a little bit of the current lack of information with the actual poker hands. But
absolutely.
That's cool to see. It's like
you took a look at it for a minute there. So what did you think of what you saw there?
So far, so good. Off to a good start. It's just always cool whenever there's a new sort of way to show off more games that are happening. It's kind of surprising that there aren't more of these live streams.
Right.
For the longest time, it was just one big show that was up and running, and now there's a couple more out
here
there.
And there, yeah.
But there's just so much poker happening all over the country that it's surprising that there aren't more shows.
Yep,
So
I'm
it's good to
surprised
see.
too. But it's a good development. Today is a 5-5 no limit hold'em game. Several of them have been. Last week, if you didn't catch last week, it was a 5-10. Pot Limit Omaha 8 or better rounded each, so they switched high and low. And
Must
that
have
was
been crazy.
It was an action game. We got some clips up, so if you haven't seen them, definitely check out either the whole show or the clips because there were some good, exciting games.
Were you commentating on that one?
No, I was working.
You were still here.
Yeah, I was still here. I was
you were
working.
probably sad.
I was on shift.
You're probably sad that you missed out playing in that one.
Oh, definitely. That's a good one. I'll be able to play in some though when I get back, so that's all right. We're gonna try to get my weekly mix game to be on the show eventually. So we'll see. We got some details to work out.
I'll probably sit that one out, but good luck to you now.
Yeah. Yep. In other poker news, recently about 2 weeks ago, I attended the TDA Summit, Tournament Directors Association. And of course, they generally set the guidelines and rules for tournaments to be followed. And you mostly play cash games, but you played a few tournaments here and there. So
I dabble, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Two big changes that I just kind of wanted to bring up. The first change that's pretty major is they are going to recommend with the big blind ante. The TDA is now officially recommending big blind ante, and they're recommending that the ante be paid first. There were a couple of places, including the World Series of Poker, that was doing big blind first. So the big blind counted first if a player could not cover both.
Is that the way they're doing it this year? They're doing big blind first
They
before
did big blind first this year. It sounds like they're going to be able to convert to ante first for next year.
Yeah, seems to make sense to me.
The other big change that players should notice right away as soon as the particular houses they're in fully adopt the new TDA rules is dealers are now going to announce all bets as they occur, except for all ins. So when someone, the old procedure was just to state bet. And if the player whose turn it was to act asked, then you could tell them how much it was. But otherwise, you did not announce the number or anything like that. Now, that's, of course, this is a tournament guideline rule, right? But at the same time, a lot of places will use the same set of rules for cash games. So I think it's going to be interesting how this may affect cash game play, which I think is more interesting. Tournament play, yes, I think it's going to speed things up because, when someone bets 1,300 and, everyone else has been raising that round to 1,200 and suddenly this guy's 1,300, it's useful to just be able to announce it's 13. So
I think they should I think they should always just announce it anyway. You in cash as well. It seems a little silly to me where it's like this always repetitive thing where someone bets and you always got to say how much, then they have to count it out. The dealer should just hop in there, count it out, and then some people might be weirded out by it. And they don't want the dealer announcing how much it is for whatever reason. But I say let's speed it up. Let's make it clear how much it is, and off we go. So
I can agree
sounds
with
like
that.
two good, reasonable rules in place.
Yeah, pretty reasonable, I think. And there are a few other changes that are coming up. I mean, a little more details on things. One thing that there was a lot of discussion on was random card theory. So there's going to be some talk and buzz about random card theory coming out, in the next months and years, because what they're trying to get away from is this concept that once you shuffle the deck and start dealing, the deck is set and it has to remain exactly the way it is. And whatever card was going to come out, when we get to things like we accidentally put the turn out too soon.
Right.
Oh, well, we have to preserve the original river.
Yeah.
No, you're only guaranteed a random card. As long as it's random and, you can't discount one card or another card from being in there or not being in there because you took it out of play, because you came out early and all this other stuff. You're only guaranteed a random card. You're not guaranteed the original river card. So there's going to be a lot of movement towards that kind of thing in those events where you have an oddity where a turn came out early, or even someone flips the card up. They may even start moving to not calling it a misdeal if two cards are flipped up on the initial deal. Maybe it's going that direction where basically you're only guaranteed a random card. That one was exposed. It doesn't matter that it's a burn card or whatever. It's just
why did they always
kind of thing.
why did they always declare that a misdeal if it was the first two cards that flipped up?
Well, it's going back to the other way of thinking of it is we have to preserve the order. Basically, if one card is flipped over, you make that the burn card, right?
Yes.
Which a card was going to come off the deck anyway. So you're basically you're taking the card that was flipped up and you're turning it into the card that would have come off the deck as the burn card, so that you're not changing what the flop would have been.
All right.
Because now it's the same.
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just hopefully they're making changes that speeds things up and not slows it down.
Right. It makes things a little less complicated.
That's good too.
Yeah. So, but that's enough about the TDA rules for now. We may dive into more of the TDA changes later. Now, on to more interesting things. Over here in the world of Instagram, Cedric, who is well known to the Rounders community and Ace in the Window groups, recently posted his highlight of his trip to Vegas. And he's got a great picture here of you and him and Boozy and Jaman.
Yep. That's a good
really
fruit
cool,
there.
right?
Solid fruit.
Yep. What a great... And Jaman always sporting the Bieber shirt.
he might be the biggest fan out there.
And what's really fun is I got into a conversation with him about it, what is it you like about Bieber? Is it music? Is it really, is the music that good? He's like, no, I don't really pay any attention to his music.
Right.
I like his work ethic. He's a hustler. He gets out there and he gets it done.
Exactly.
He's like, oh, yeah, I like that.
I've heard him tell that story a few times by this point.
So,
but yeah, he is a fan. He's always got a Bieber shirt on, which
absolutely.
is dedication.
Yeah, and Bieber is too. So Ceddy here writes that he got a full double up through his buddy.
Yes,
Andrew
I'm
Neeme.
sure that was one of the highlights of his Vegas
at
trip.
the Golden Nugget.
Considering how deep we were too at this uncapped 1-2 game.
So we got to talk about that a little bit. Tell us a little.
Okay.
Spin us a little yarn here.
Yeah, let's relive
what
this
do we
lovely.
have?
Let's relive this lovely memory from the summertime, which was probably the biggest pot I lost all summer.
Oh no.
So we were over at the Golden Nugget, which it's uncapped 1-2. It's a great. I think it's a great room in general. Downtown is really the only place to play. There are still some poker tables at Binion's, but there's basically nothing to speak of.
Be tournament.
Yeah, they still have their tournament series, but as far as cash games go, I don't think I've played cash there in the past 5 years or something. So anyway, the Golden Nugget, it's uncapped, and I would say about 80 to 85% of the time at the Golden Nugget, it's just a typical 1-2 game. 15% of the time or so, it's madness.
Yeah.
Since it is, again, it's uncapped.
It's uncapped.
You can also, it's the last place in Vegas that I know of where cash still plays on the table.
Right.
So,
that's true.
$100 bills play.
Which can sometimes be controversial because how many hundreds do you have? And,
But since it's uncapped, someone can just reach in their pocket, drop all their money on the table, and it's in play.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, in Vegas, many drinks are consumed, and all these different factors lead into a combination of craziness at the Golden Nugget sometimes. So we were out. We had a couple drinks earlier that night. We went to a couple bars before we made it to the Golden Nugget. And that picture that you see there, we're still all friends. Ceddy and I were not friends anymore. This picture happened before. It happened that same night before the Golden Nugget. So there's straddles, there's double straddles happening. I think we're playing 1, 2, 5, 10 basically.
Okay, all right.
And
slightly larger game than normal. Right?
Yeah, okay. I think there was a hand where unknown player opens. I have ace jack of diamonds and 3-bet out of the blinds. I think the small blind, and then I think Ceddy's in the big blind. On my direct left, he 4-bets it to $310. So it was probably one of those 1, 2, 5, 10 hands. And I have ace jack of diamonds. We're $1,600 deep.
Right.
Obviously not the most super ideal spot, but no one likes to be a nit. Grab a bunch of drinks.
Sure.
Let's get in there and see a flop. Flop comes down ace high, I think with 2 hearts. I check it and he checks back, so I'm feeling pretty good. Turn is the jack of hearts, so now I have top 2. There's 3 hearts on the board, but shouldn't really have to worry about that in a 4-bet pot. So let's see. I think I bet it here. Try and charge some pocket kings with king of hearts type hands, and he goes ahead and rips it all in. I'm like, well, top 2 pair here in a 4-bet pot usually going to be pretty good. So I call, and we are drawing dead versus pocket aces.
Pocket aces.
So a pretty lovely board here in a 4-bet pot.
I was going to say, you're not drawing dead to much, but pocket aces is one thing you're drawing dead to. Yeah, unfortunately.
Top
set is a killer. Yeah.
Lesson, probably fold pre-flop in a 4-bet pot with ace-jack out of position, but no one likes to nit, and go screw yourself, Ceddy. Enjoy the money. But just kidding. He's a good dude. He won me a few $100s. I bought a piece of him. I bought I think 10% of him in his.
When he cashed in the other item you mentioned about, right? The epic stack of the Venetian.
Yeah. So cool. I won a little bit of money back from his poker tournament endeavors this summer, and all as well. He also took us out to lunch when we came and visited down in San Antonio. Mm-hmm. He drove us from Austin to San Antonio. Myself and Brad Owen. And he's an awesome host, and I guess he's a good guy. I guess I'm an even better host now after handing him $1,600 in cash.
Yeah, but I think you win the award for that one. Yeah.
There you go. There's the scoop.
Well, good deal. Well, thank you very much. That's a good story. Well, okay. The next thing I want to talk about was, you're a partner in crime who also has his own vlogging channel. Who obviously you guys should also be following Brad on.
Yes.
Just got a new poker kitten, Marvin.
So
have you met Marvin? That's the burning question.
I have not. I met the ex-cat. I met Cosmo, the famous cat. Marvin, I don't think is as famous yet. I'm sure he's on his way. Yes, he's up and coming. Haven't met him yet though, and by the size of that picture, I wouldn't say as much of a kitten. It looks like a pretty big cat, but pretty cute.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Brad Owen is happy. Life is good in Brad Owen land. He's got more subs on YouTube than I do these days. His videos are just crushing. He gets 150, 200 whatever 1,000 videos.
He snuck past you on the subscribers. That was
his videos are.
I hate to say it was surprising, but I mean, just like wow, his
videos are on point. You know, he doesn't screw around like in bars all over Vegas. He delivers what the people want, and the people have responded.
Cool. So another interesting thing was I saw you had a post a week or so ago with your pop-up shop.
Yeah.
And I happened to be off that day, and I said, well, this is great because, you know, obviously as a guy who's working swing shift, you know, I start my day at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., something like that. So when you put something up in the evening, I'm like, oh, I can't go. And then I look at the date, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I can.
Perfect.
I can go to that one. So it was fun. Back at Atomic Liquors, who you have featured on your vlog a time or two.
Great bar.
Certainly one of the early ones. And it was nice. I don't really do a lot of bars, but it was a fun bar. It was a fun atmosphere. It had a nice porch. Had some very interesting drinks. So yeah, it was a good.
Great spot
and a neat place to put up a shop. So tell us a little about how that works.
It was kind of straightforward. I mean, we reached out to a couple different places, but Atomic Liquors was the first choice for sure. It was featured in vlog number 1 that I ever put out there on YouTube. And it's one of my favorite spots. It's got an outdoor patio, which is always nice. You know, it was in the evening, so I feel like this summertime here in Vegas hasn't been too ridiculously insane hot.
It was somewhat mild. I mean, it was still, the sun was still up for a good probably hour of the pop-up shop, and it wasn't blasted hot.
When we were setting up the shop, it was a little bit sweaty. But the weather has been pretty reasonable this year. And it was just a cool little get-together away from the poker tables and the casinos and everything. So we wanted to be able to just have the social aspect going on and not be battling over poker hands at the same time. And if we can sell a couple T-shirts, a couple hats along the way, that's awesome too. So it seemed like everyone dug it, came by. We had a pretty good turnout. Don't know exactly how many people. I would guess maybe like 80 people. I don't know. 100.
Probably sounds about right. I mean,
like
you know, a lot of people came and went. I mean, a lot of people were there for several hours. So I was there for quite a while, and of course, it's funny. I saw some video later after I left. Johnny Vibes dropped by. I was like, oh, I missed him. You know,
the man who just crushed Sean Deeb in his prop bet, crushed him, annihilated him. So shout out to Johnny Vibes for getting it done. That was cool.
Now, one other guy, I already mentioned him a little bit, that was at the pop-up shop, and I've seen him around a little bit. Jaman. So he has you here. A little appearance in his vlog.
I think this was my vlog. Well, actually, he used this.
Well, he has the comic book outline.
He used this
what he does. But,
he used this in his vlog as well. But
did you clip it and put it in yours? I don't remember where I grabbed this, to be honest. I just remember seeing it.
This was really cool. We're at Mandalay Bay, and we're doing like I put together a sort of impromptu meetup game, 5-10 meetup game, just because lists during that. I think this might have been the first or second weekend of Vegas of the WSOP.
Yeah.
And lists were just insane.
Crazy.
So it's tough to get.
Yeah, because we had the Big 50 and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there were so many people here. Yeah.
So Jaman dropped by with his buddy Rain Delay and pulled Jaman aside to do a quick interview on my channel, and he grabbed a clip of that as well for his blog. And always good to get some Jaman time in your life.
Yeah, no kidding.
Great dude.
His vlog is so interesting. I have no idea how he has all the time to do all the stuff he does, you know, to transition, make it look like it's a comic book and all that kind of stuff. Like, wow, I mean, this is like, I can barely put a graphic on the screen. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, but he just started season 4 of his vlog. So if you're not watching it, you should definitely go check it out.
He's got a ton of creativity, great personality. He's got the poker in there as well. And it's not super formulaic. Like, it's easy to fall into a formula. I've definitely been fallen victim to that myself. You know, you kind of know what you're going to get with like my videos, with Brad's videos, and with James' videos. You're not too sure what's going to happen next.
Right. It's always a little bit of a surprise. He's got a little something for you. He tells some stories, talks about hands, talks about where he's going, talks about how his day is. It's a combination of things. So.
Which Bieber shirt is he going to be wearing?
Yeah, which Bieber shirt will he be wearing? Exactly. Yeah, all that kind of good stuff.
It's the Drawing Dead vlog on YouTube.
The Drawing Dead.
Search for the Drawing Dead.
Yeah, that's what he self-titles it that. So next time on YouTube, the Drawing Dead.
Yes.
He's got that good announcer voice too. So. Let's see. So now you had a post that you had a pretty big tournament score. I believe it was the Millie Maker, or I don't remember exactly, but I remember you posted that you had a pretty decent.
Yeah, it was actually at the Win.
At the Win.
It was at the Win. Yeah. So as I'm sure a lot of your viewers know, there's all these other series that are happening in conjunction. The WSOP same time. This one happened at the Win. My actually two biggest scores. I mean, they're not like massive, life-changing scores, but the two biggest scores on my head and mob are both at the Win. We good? Do we need to repeat anything? Okay. So yeah, my two biggest scores on my head and mob are both at the Win. This one barely nudged out the last one. This one was for 11.8K in an 1100 event, and that was the biggest score of my summer.
That's good.
So
That's
can't
good.
complain with that.
Yeah.
Can't complain about that.
And a great poker room too. I mean, the Win is just such a nice place to play.
Everything about the Win is pretty much on point. They did away with their parking fees.
Yes.
So they're
And my big giant van fits in their parking garage.
Sweet.
My big giant van does not fit in most of the garages along the strip.
why even get a
Pay or
hotel
not
room?
pay.
Why even
So-
get a room? Why not just park for free, stay for free?
Tempting, but yeah, the heat gets me. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So you don't want to leave it running with AC like all day.
The Win poker tournament area is the only one where there's like natural light coming in that I'm aware of. The only one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because it's right by the Surrender Pool party place, and there's natural light coming in there during the daytime. So yeah, everything the Win does, their staff is as on point as it gets, and
So
maybe it's just all the good vibes just leads me into
it's helpful to
playing
have a
well.
little extra sunlight. You know, it always gives you a little boost, especially since most casinos they forbid the sunlight from existing. So
Right.
They don't want you to know what time of day it is.
Yep. Steve Wynn, in certainly some major faults in his life, but as far as a designer goes, that was a strong
Amazing
one.
design.
Yeah.
Amazing design. So with that kind of score under your belt in the tournaments, are you thinking of changing your focus? Are you going to be the next Jeff Boski? Are you going to be the next tournament vlogger?
Can anybody be the next Jeff Boski? There's only one, I'm pretty sure. There will always only ever be one. But it's actually like an interesting question, because this year at the WSOP, I felt like the No Limit Hold'em cash games I think they fell off quite a bit compared to previous years. And you can ponder why that might be, or whether it's actually the case, maybe it's just my sample size. Some other people are doing well. But I think that with so many tournaments going on and how they've changed the structures and put all these smaller buy-in tournaments at the WSOP, they're all bracelet events now. Why would recreational players feel the need to play cash games when there's all these like fun and exciting tournaments going and they get so much play out of them?
Yep.
And maybe that has some sort of an effect on the cash games. I think it's a reasonable theory, just based on what I saw this year.
I would say that is certainly the chatter around the back rooms with the dealers is they're postulating that the lower buy-in tournaments are driving people away from the cash games because they'd rather play those tournaments.
Yeah. And I mean, the tournaments that you see how much, what kind of a turnout they've gotten in these tournaments, just huge, crazy lines, which need to be sort of resolved and thought about the logistics of all that stuff. But as far as the players and what they seem to be spending their money on, tournaments are skyrocketing. I don't see a lot of the people making their way into the cash game. So as for going forward here in Las Vegas, I could see myself playing less cash games here in town. I definitely love traveling and playing games elsewhere. I enjoy it a lot more than just kind of hanging out here and doing the same old grind that I've been doing for the last 10 years. Part of that is definitely just personal thing, since as I said, I've been here for the past 10 years. And it kind of gets old. But still love traveling, still love playing No Limit elsewhere. What I'm going to do here, tough to say. We'll still be doing meetup games and things like that. Team Run It Up, which I'm still a part of. They just launched a new project where they're doing a live stream home game, literally out of a house. They had built a really beautiful set, and they're going to be running some games, I think, 2 times per week.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I'll definitely be partaking in that.
All right.
And we'll see. We'll see what happens as far as my poker play goes here.
Cool. Well, certainly keep an eye on your channel. I'm sure you'll be letting your viewers know how things are going. So
yeah. As far as tournaments, yeah, I mean, I could definitely see myself hopping in some more of them.
Cool.
You know, the Win has a series a few times a year, and as I've just said, great place to play over there at the Win. My best results are over there. So
and the Venetian Deep Stack, I believe, has a quarterly tournament. So every 3 months, they've got another series of tournaments that usually goes like 6 weeks. So it's running a lot.
Yeah.
So that's be good too. And then circuit events. I think 3 circuit events hit Vegas outside of the normal World Series of Poker. It might be 4.
Yeah.
So those are the ones to keep an eye on also.
Yeah. There's plenty of tournaments for sure. There's plenty of travel to be done. Brad and I, we will be doing a bunch of traveling coming up very soon. Meetup games and all sorts of stuff happening.
Yep, that was the next thing I was going to mention.
Nice
the old meetup games. How are they going in general? You know, it's something that you started, I believe, when I was here 2 years ago for the summer. In 2017, I was here for like 10 days or something like that.
Yep.
And I took like 3 days to go to Los Angeles to play at the Bike and Commerce and some things like that. And you guys had a meetup game. I feel like it was the first one, right when I went to LA.
Oh, okay.
Dang it, I just missed it. And then, of course, you've had several since then.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is still kind of a new project, but then it's at least 2 years old, right?
Yeah, I guess now it is. I think our very first one was 2 years ago here during the World Series when, again, lists were crazy. And we said, let's find a
smaller or a lesser traveled room.
Exactly. Yeah. We went to the Mirage and put a 2-5 game together there. I think we got like 4 tables, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
We had way too many drinks afterwards.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, let's do it again. Maybe try and tone down the drinking. We'll try our best at least. And we've been keeping them going ever since.
Cool deal. Well, do you have any coming up?
Yes, we are. So the next one is a week from today, which today is Tuesday.
Cool.
That will be, what is that? The 16th?
Tuesday the 16th, I believe. Yeah.
16th here at the South Point in Vegas.
Okay.
3 p.m., 2-5, no limit hold'em. Last time we think we got like 12 games going or 13 or something.
Big group, yeah.
So always a good time.
And
they got a lot of tables over there.
Several tables available. So,
yeah, they have like 22 tables in the room, so we can.
It's a nice size room.
Yeah, it's great. So if we can get a bunch of tables dedicated to the meetup games, that's awesome, and not have people have to wait. After that, we're getting back on the road. The 24th, there's a meetup game at the Isle in Pompano, Florida.
Okay.
Cool. We'll be playing 3-5 there, and that's sort of in conjunction with the big event that they have going on. We'll be playing in their main event, their $1,500 buy-in tournament main event thing. They got a tournament series going on, so we'll play that the weekend right after that, and then up to Maryland Live Casino.
Back to Maryland Live.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the largest meetup game you've had so far.
I think, as of now, it's scheduled for the 30th. We might move it back a day to Wednesday the 31st, just so there's a little bit more space in between the two.
All right.
But yeah, our biggest one happened up there a few months ago when we got 22 tables worth of games together. It's a
big group.
It's a pretty unique sort of location with people coming from all the neighboring states up there.
Yeah.
So, and that's a huge poker room. I don't know how many tables, but it's like two floors worth of tables and lots of space there too.
That was last summer. We went to Washington D.C. as a family trip, and since it's just I'm the only person playing poker, everyone else, was not interested in that. So when they were all asleep, I would take an Uber out to National Harbor, which Maryland Live, just because we were staying in downtown D.C., Maryland Live was a little far away just to take an Uber. It'd be kind of expensive. But it's the same kind of area, and so that area, of course, you're in D.C., you've got Northern Virginia, you've got Southern Maryland, the whole kind of, and it's obviously a big metro area because it's all around Washington D.C.
Yep.
So it's a good area. So
Yeah, it's awesome.
I need to get up to Maryland Live, but I just haven't been out there yet.
Yep, I've never been to MGM National Harbor.
Yeah.
So
it's a pretty good room, and it's got some good action out there. I played played a 75-150 mix game, which was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good times.
Pretty good action.
I'll get into 75-150 mix game one of these years.
Someday. I gotta teach you how to play these mix games.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm missing out on tons of fun. Maybe I'm like
I tell you what, the next time you come to Rounders, I'll assemble a group and we'll play a 3-6 mix game. You can handle 3-6 limit, I promise.
maybe we could do that, or we could ride Lime scooters all around the city. Stop at bars.
Yes, yeah, gotta ride those scooters.
So we'll see.
Yeah, cool deal. Well, do you have a time you're coming back to Rounders?
There's nothing on the calendar yet, but hopefully we'll figure something out. Maybe for like the fall. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I'd certainly be glad. Good to see you guys back.
Yeah, I mean it's so cool what's going on. Well, I mean I guess it's still sort of up in the air. I was going to say cool what's going on in Texas, but some news in other markets. We're not really sure what's going on. But as far as the rooms that are up and running and the action and the games that happen in those rooms, it's really cool. It's great that there's so many people that want to get in there and gamble over a game of cards, and what's not to like.
Makes it pretty fun and exciting. So
Yeah,
I like it. Well, good deal. Well, thank you so much for being my co-host for the show today. Certainly do appreciate that.
Thanks for having me on here.
And hey, guys, also thank you to Aria. They have. We are in their convention center right now. For the TDA Summit, I was out in this area. And
okay, is that how you discovered this?
Yeah, that's how I discovered this.
Show
nice
me
little nook.
this area back here. We're in this gigantic conference convention space that I've never even seen before.
Yeah. It's really nice. It's got some quiet areas, which is very helpful because, as you know, most casinos always have a lot of noise, a lot of stuff going on. Even like a bar or restaurant, a lot of noise going on. It's hard to get a decent recording, so this should give us a pretty decent recording and allow us to have good audio. I hope.
Let's hope so. I know about those audio struggles.
We'll see on playback how it happens.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
Good luck.
But thank you so much. Thank you to Aria, and hey, we'll see you next time, guys.